welcome back. Thursday, 1 o'clock Central European Time. As usual, you're getting a competency profile live by the AI Guild. Also, as usual, strictly 15 minutes. I'm going to be speaking about an individual competency profile today of a senior data scientist. I'll be showing you the competency profile, I'll show you the details of it, and I'll also explain to you how you get your own competency profile if you want one. And we're going to be looking in depth at this person's particular profile for 15 minutes. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave them in the comments. During the course of the day, I will get back to you and answer. Okay, let's go. So today we're doing the competency profile of a senior data scientist. Actually, it's somebody working in the chemical industry. So this is a senior data scientist that's really specialized in a particular vertical, the chemical industry. And his two main points are that he's really good at getting use cases into production, at solving use cases, and that he also has end-to-end experience. End-to-end experience means kind of like the whole value chain of getting use cases into production. And then supporting this, you will find out that he also runs data literacy programs for industry professionals, not just data professionals, but also industry professionals in a wider sense. So here we have a senior data scientist that is co-developing data strategies for chemical industry corporations, such as ownership, training, and autonomous production. He delivers cloud architecture, does feature engineering, and gets models to production hands-on. Yeah. And his solutions save significant costs and increase yield. That's what we'll be doing today. So why competency profiles? Well, the most successful practitioners are those with substantial, deep expertise in at least one aspect. This was already clear a decade ago. So what you're looking at here is a report called Analyzing the Analyzers that was based on self-reported data in 2011 and 2012, before the data scientist became the sexiest job of the 21st century, thanks to Harvard Business Review. So here you still have the data creative and the data business person and so on and so on. So data analyst, data scientist, machine learning engineer, NLP, computer vision, they weren't yet such well-known descriptive terms actually for professional roles as they are now, but already back then it was kind of like clear, yeah. The successful practitioners have substantial deep expertise in at least one aspect, and this really also is what you need to do as a data professional, what you need to understand. So what you see here is that these roles differ, so that somebody who's kind of like solving challenges, or somebody creating business value, or somebody doing the engineering, okay, or somebody kind of doing the productionization, say like in an ML ROP, so that these roles, of course, have distinctive profiles. Yeah, they're different. So one of the things that one needs to do in a career actually is pick a role. So are you a data analyst or are you a data scientist? Are you an NLP engineer or a data scientist? Do you specialize in ML ops? These have distinct profiles, distinct requirements. They need to match your skills. So also the question is, what technical skills do you really have? Which ones can you still develop? And then there's the other part of this, so to speak, your individual competency profile, right? So what is it that you specifically bring to the table? What is it that you've developed, and what are you keen in developing as you now move forward? So this is as much about the past 2 years as it is about the next 2 years, and where that substantial deep expertise is that you're developing. So the most successful practitioners. And then it's not just about having it, it's also about using your competency profile. So what can you do with it once you've got one? So there are like 5 use cases that you have: promotion, outreach, clients, LinkedIn or professional networking, and interviewing. So what's going on here? You have a competency profile like the one I showed you. You can schedule a conversation about your career opportunities inside the company. The point of a competency profile is your line manager, senior executives, business people inside your company, within 60 seconds, based on the competency profile, they should get who you are and be able to start an intelligent conversation with you about your career trajectory and your opportunities inside the company. The next is you can use it for outreach. So you want to contact senior industry colleagues, yeah, you want to attract more interest, you want to get better known in the community, have a competency profile. Other professionals looking at this, they will immediately get who you are, where you're coming from, and where you're headed. Really, also, again, The point is 60 seconds or less. Now, if you happen to be in freelance or consulting, show it to your client. Okay? Help the buyer see your ability to deliver. Then more generally, professional networking. And this is also true inside your company. So if you're working in a larger company, it may well be that your colleagues use LinkedIn or Xing or something like this as the first go-to reference, right? If they want to find out more about you. So you refine your header, you enhance your about section, you highlight your professional experience, and you use the competency profile really to hone your presentation on these professional networks and make sure that anybody glancing at them, because that's what we do, right? We glance at them, gets it immediately, okay? And then finally, should you be in a position where you're looking for your next challenge or you want to move on, and you're in a process of applying. So of course, when you apply, you fill out forms, you send your CV, but assuming they're interested and the interviewing process starts, that's the moment to send them the competency profile. You send it so that there's like something shared you can start from, showing that you've prepared, what you think is really important about what you do professionally. They can use this to start an intelligent conversation with you. Your big fat advantage is that if they start from your competency profile, it's your home turf. You've prepared this. You know what you're talking about. So your advantage. Now, let's move on and let's move in. So here's the competency profile. It says, I'm a senior data scientist co-developing data strategies for chemical industry corporations. So in the chemical industry, it says here corporations, so large companies, such as ownership, training, and autonomous production. I deliver cloud architecture, do feature engineering, and get models to production hands-on. Okay, and his skills profile, the deep expertise is in use cases and the end-to-end delivery, flanked by his expertise in the chemical industry over years and his special interest in data literacy. So moving on. This is if you want to flip your screen for those, and if you want to look at it again, just so you see it bigger if you're on a mobile phone. So moving on, the use cases. Solved 10 use cases, for example, modeling, with 3 maintained in production, owner of 2. What's going on here? Now, once you've solved 10 use cases, kind of like beyond doubt, you know how to do this, you know how to deliver. And this is really clear then for somebody looking at this. Then, of course, always the question is, so how many actually went to production? Urban legend has it less than 1 in 10. But you can see here 3 maintained in production. Okay, so this also says, I've done it several times. Some went to production and 3 still are in production today. And I'm actually the owner of 2. Okay, deep insights into chemical industry, data volume and quality. So data volume and quality really is important in the sense of a lot of data and what is its quality. For example, manufacturing logistics inside the chemical industry and sales, and able to address data collection and generation. So not only able to solve use cases in the sense of modeling, but also to change perspective and look at what goes into those models. Do we have sufficient volume? Do we have sufficient quality? Are we actually collecting the right data? Do we need to generate additional data, buy data? What do we need to do here so that we're actually able to solve our most interesting use cases? That is what this says here. Then end-to-end, so that other deep pillar. So experience as the owner of cloud delivery, for example, AWS, S3, SageMaker, and Code Pipeline. You will know these technologies better than I do. I built the infrastructure, advanced analytics, and led the technical requirements. Previous experience on the SAP cloud. So we already had it, worked for large chemical industry corporates. They typically in their business departments still use SAP. A lot of it, and there's an SAP cloud, so it actually is of an advantage if you have experience with I don't know whether you already want to call them legacy technologies, but with kind of these older softwares that help business processes, because either you need to work on those or you need to migrate the data to your new data lake. So having this experience is valuable. But the point here is he already has experience as the owner of cloud delivery on AWS. Okay. There are other platforms that it might help you if you are able to use 2 platforms and compare and contrast. But the point is, can deliver on the cloud, has seen end-to-end the value chain, and was involved in actually building the infrastructure and led on the technical requirements. Okay, so substantial expertise in this end-to-end delivery. So here you go. Yeah, data scientist. Why senior data scientist? Why senior data scientist? I think with the right to say, I want to be lead. I want to be the lead data scientist, because solved multiple use cases and is able to hands-on contribute to end-to-end delivery. Therefore, would also be able to supervise end-to-end delivery and help other people improve on their models. You know, if you're the lead and you have a team like 3-4 people, there will be people working on different models. There will be people getting the models ready for production. There will be people looking at the data requirements for improving the model accuracy and quality and so on. So once you've seen all of this, you've done it for a number of years, you could actually progress from senior to lead. Then I spoke about the fact that this deep expertise is flanked by special interests or special knowledge. So one here is data literacy, owner of a corporate data academy with learning path for 200 plus data professionals and manufacturing specialists. So of course, data professionals, but the point here is also manufacturing specialists. Yeah, so other people inside a business that also need to be data literate. Now, if we think about literacy and we think about data literacy, the way we should think about this is we want 100%. So if we're talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic, yeah, the 3 R's, literacy more generally, or numeracy, the target always has to be 100%. It's 100% for the population of a country. It's 100% for any class in school. And in this sense, the future of data is 100% data literacy for companies. This means all people need to be able to understand data, be able to understand roughly what they're doing, contribute to the data infrastructure, be able to input data, understand, be able to read dashboards and use them in their work, and so on and so on. This is quite a challenge because we're talking getting comfortable with statistics and probability, but it's really important. And of course, the leading companies in the sector that use data really for a competitive advantage, they really go for this type of data literacy. So bringing that to the table is actually really interesting. And then finally, we have the chemical industry. So the way I look at it, I think the future of the data profession is also that you need this crossover. So you'll be in a particular role. You'll be a data scientist. You'll be an NLP engineer. You'll be ML ops, and in a particular industry or for a particular function. So you can, for example, be a data scientist for fraud detection, and you can be a data scientist in the chemical industry. Now, fraud detection might happen in many companies, banks, e-commerce, and so on, you can imagine. Whereas the chemical industry, of course, is a particular vertical. I don't know, there might be neighboring industry like pharma, but it's a particular vertical. And what you need is this additional expertise. You need to actually, in some sense, love the data, feel at home in a particular thing so that you get better at this. And you really also become known for this type of expertise. So I think the future is this type of crossover, and we can see it here. I think that's valuable. So the competency profile, as you can see, comes with these kind of like T-shaped profiles. So it gives you certain breadth that simply speaks to the role of a data scientist, which is why use case and end-to-end infrastructure development were important here. But you also need to bring it all together. And the profile statement at the top that you can use in the About section on LinkedIn, for example, precisely does that. I'm a senior data scientist, co-developing data strategies for chemical industry corporations, such as ownership, training, and autonomous production. I deliver cloud architecture, do feature engineering, and get models to production hands-on. My solutions save significant costs and increase yield. Now, perhaps one could have said here, how much cost or how much increased yield, but sometimes this simply is sensitive information, yeah, and you don't want to share it initially. So then it's fine to just make the claim, because anybody can take you up on the claim. So if you say, I've saved significant costs, somebody else can say, well, so how much was it, right? Or increased yield. So by how much? What exactly? But it's fine to sometimes just make the claim and then be taken up on it later. And some information you want to share initially, and some information you don't want to share. And then there may be a difference between sharing it publicly on a professional network, or what you have on your CV, or what you only really do in a conversation, possibly even in a face-to-face conversation, where you can be relatively sure that it's not being recorded, so to speak. Yeah. So this is also something we need to learn. what is appropriate in terms of sharing. But this is a really clear statement. I think it works like this. And again, as I said, I think it makes it clear that if we're talking here about the uses of the competency profile, this is a competency profile that's ready for a conversation about promotion, because he's a senior, but he could equally well be a lead, right? It's also a point where you want to contact other senior people in your industry and have more exchanges. Use it for that. Social networks I already spoke about. And then should, of course, the company not be able to offer a decent career path, you might need to look to another company, and then again, you can use it in the interviewing process. So here's a summary for you again to look at and study. So we spoke about the fact that we do competency profiles because we think it's the most important step for advancing careers from senior onwards, lead, director, principal, and so on. It's also the number one impediment still on the market. So for companies, access to practitioners with the right skill set, this kind of like, oh, I'm in the chemical industry, I actually need a data scientist that can work in the chemical industry, that understands what we're doing and is able to help me determine where I have enough data quality so that I actually can put models to production and make or save money. Right, so finding the right practitioner really still is a challenge. We know it for Europe, the United States, even worldwide. There's data that shows that for companies, this is the number one impediment. You get yourself a competency profile, you can help them move past that impediment, right, and be that right practitioner. So if you want your own personal competency profile, there's two things you do. First, you need to join the AI Guild as a member, which you can do at theguild.ai. Go and check out the website. The overriding criterion for AI Guild membership is that you are a data professional, that you can show that you're a data professional. If so, please go ahead and sign up. Once you're a member of the AI Guild, you can actually sign up for a career workshop through the same said website. For members, and you can go and get your own competency profiles. There are events coming up for competency profiles over the next months, so you just have to go and find the one that you would like to join. The requirement for this is, by the way, that you get your competency profile, that you've been in the field for at least 3 years. If you are a junior or a beginner, there are other workshops the AI Guild has for you, but not this one. This one actually means you've been around for some time, and you really are at this, you are a senior by title, or at least by experience, and it's now time to understand how to advance your career best. Okay, as usual, I'm done for today. I hope you enjoyed the presentation of this particular competency profile. Comments or questions, please leave it in the comments. I'll respond later. Enjoy the rest of your day.